Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sacred Foundations October 2023 reading. I'm Jill Chesrow from Elements of Mastery, and you will notice that I don't have my co-pilot here with me. Julia Frainer has had an extensive travel schedule and spending time with family. So we were going to be a little bit delayed in when we could get together to record this reading. And I personally work with this reading a lot, so I didn't want to delay this anymore. And Julia agreed that we should just get the information out there. So I'll be giving my interpretation of the reading. I don't know if Julia is going to be able to do an interpretation and provide that as a YouTube link on her own channel. If so, I'll see if there's any way I could link it back to the Sacred Foundations channel. So anyway, I just I'm gonna miss my co-pilot because I love Julia's interpretations of the cards, and also she is the one who keeps me on track. So I miss you for a million different reasons, Julia. And all right, so let's dive in. For those of you who have been with us for a while, you can just dive straight into the reading and it'll be time-stamped below. If you chose an extra Sacred Foundations card, 1, 2, or 3, those will also be time-stamped below. That is totally optional, but just know that if you do that, it's all time-stamped, so you could skip this beginning part. And then for those of you who are new to us in the Sacred Foundations monthly reading, I just wanted to share a little bit about the decks that we use and the card spread that we use for these readings. And all right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. So this is the October 2023 card readings. We use the decks Awakening to Your Divine Self and Priestesses of the New Earth deck. Julia and I are both collaborative artists in these decks. The first deck had a total of 39 collaborative artists from around the world. I think it was 7 different countries participated in this first deck. And in 2018, we created a second deck. Not all of the artists from the first deck were in the second deck, but there were a lot of them that were. So this deck is the other one that we use. We use a card spread called the Cross of Truth reading, and this is one of my absolute favorite card spreads because it just lays out any topic and you receive insight in a very structured way that is easily usable and implementable, if that's a word, in your life. So with the Cross of Truth spread, this is the first card. This represents the base or theme of the month. Then the middle cards are hopes or fears and how you really feel about the theme of the month. And then this third card over here is the helpful energy card. The fourth card here is the obstacle card. And then the top card is the answer outcome advice card. And then you read that in correlation with the rest of the cards in the reading. These 3 cards back here, these are from the Sacred Foundations frequency card set. These are a unique set of attunement frequency-based cards, and they each have their own message. So if you want to take this Sacred Foundation reading and go a layer deeper, then go ahead and pull. This is the first, or choose. This is the first card. This is the second card. This is the third card, and they each have their own message. So after the main portion of the reading, then I'll go into what each of those individual cards are for those that have pulled them. But again, totally optional. So if you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to. All right. So this is the main portion of the reading, and we start here with the Emerging She card. For those of you who were with us last month, this base card was called Starlight Essence, and it was really about, just being your own authentic person, the authentic expression of who and what you are, standing in your own personal power, and then expressing from there. So, and then the last card last month was release. So if we, we're working on standing in our own personal power and coming from a place of empowerment and releasing all that no longer served us, then as we move into this month, we still have this emerging she. So this woman here, beautiful, beautiful art on this card, just stunning, from an artist named Marlie. I think Avant, I'm not positive, but anyway, just an incredible artist. So she's naked on top, right? So there's a lot of vulnerability there, but she's showing up, standing tall. She's emerging as her true self. She's got a lion here next to her. So there is some courage, there's some bravery, and just that emergence into the true, authentic expression of the self. You can't really see it. Let me see if I could blow this up. Not really. There's like the universe is swirling up here and it's coming into the basket, which was a super cool aspect of the Starlight Essence card last month, was that universe swirling and then energy coming into the crown center. We see that here in the nighttime card, because Starlight Essence artist is the same as the nighttime artist, Odile. Just also an amazing artist. They're all amazing artists. I'm going to say that all the time, because all of these artists and these women who participated in these decks are incredible women. So anyway, all right. So back to the emerging she. This is why I love having Julia with me, because she helps me stay focused. And I just love her anyway. Okay, so the emerging she. So this is the base. This is the theme of the reading. So how are you? How are you standing and being the authentic expression of yourself? Are you comfortable doing that? Does it still feel vulnerable doing that? There is no right or wrong. You are where you are. So this is an emerging energy. You're making great strides. Keep going, keep showing up, keep being you. And then, tune into the energy of the lion for bravery and courage that walks beside you on this journey. Your angels, your guides, you're very supported in this universal expression of you as your true authentic self. So that brings us to the hopes and fear cards, or how you really feel. So radiant soul healing. There is a part of you that may still be consciously aware of the fact that you have some healing to do around standing in your own authentic power and being the full expression of you. So most of us have been, significantly conditioned in our upbringing to maybe not radiate or be able to, be our true authentic expression for various different reasons. If that's the case, then just know that, that the opportunity for this deep healing or returning to wholeness is a huge part of the energy that's available to you. Some people, so that's a great hope for many people, and it can be a fear of doing that healing. Healing work doesn't always have to be heavy, but it can bring up some stuff that you're ready to look at and let go of, but sometimes it's helpful to journey with a trusted friend or licensed facilitator of healing work. But Radiant Soul Healing is available to you this month. I'm not an astrologer, but this is eclipse season, and I believe that part of the eclipse is in the sign of Libra, which is in our relationship and partnership realm. So just keep that in mind, that we are in eclipse season. Julie and I each pull a card here for the second position, so that's why you'll see two cards here. And then the second card is nighttime. again, if you were with us last month, you'll know that this nighttime card also came up and it was in the obstacle position. So one of the things that this could be referring to, this nighttime card, when it was in the obstacle position, was that, you know, you were not consciously aware of something, that you were kind of asleep to something that you know, needed to be aware of or would benefit from being aware of, but maybe you didn't want to see it, or a part of you was staying asleep for various different reasons. So now we see this here in the hopes and fears. So it moved out of the obstacle position and it moved into the hopes and the fears. So this would suggest that perhaps there's still some of us that might not be ready, willing, or able for various different reasons to look at the things that we need to look at and address the things that we need to look at. But I want you to know that, you know, you need to do what's right and correct for you. But again, you've got support. You've got all this universal support here. You've got this universal support here. So just, you know, tune in, check in and see, is there something that you are afraid to look at? Is there something that you're hiding from? Is there something that you would benefit from being awake to? So consider that. And then there's the, you know, then there's that aspect of, are you getting enough rest and stuff. So we talked about that last month, but if for those of you who don't feel like you are rested enough and you don't feel like you have the energetic strength to do any of the healing that would be beneficial for you so you can emerge as your true authentic self, you'll want to be aware of that too. And you want to make sure that you're doing good self-care and you're taking care of yourself. All right, so then we go to the helpful energy card. So here we see the create card. This is an expansive card. When you think about creative energy, it's, you know, it's not just like creating as far as art goes, although it could be, but the creation energy itself is very expansive. It's moving, it's flowing. You see all this energy flowing around here. So movement of the creative energy is really important. I love that the image has the woman has her arms out. So she's opened up here in the chest area and she's really kind of receiving the energy and allowing the energy to move in that creative, expansive state. So that's helpful energy. And then you've got the totems here. I believe, is that crow? And then owl. And I'm not sure what this is. Let me see. Those are healing hands as well. So, you know, we heal with our hands, we create with our hands. So there's that energy too. All right, so then the obstacle energy is incubate. And I really had to sit with these cards for a little bit because sometimes when you're doing a card reading, just the messages just jump right out. It's just like, oh my gosh, that all makes perfect sense. So for this one, I was just like, all right, incubate as an obstacle energy. So I can't wait to hear what Julia has to share with this card, but I'll just go at it from the way that I am feeling the energy unfold. So here in the helpful energy, we've got this expansive, creative movement energy. And then in the obstacle energy, we've got this mermaid fetus enclosed in an embryonic sac. And that's a beautiful, wonderful, protective place to be. But because it's showing up in the obstacle position, it would really serve us to look at, are we shielded? Are we staying incubated? Are we staying too protective and not allowing that emerging she energy of our authentic self to come forward and express in the world? So I'm not saying that incubate doesn't ever serve, because it does. If this card would have showed up in any other position, it would have a completely different meaning. But because it is in the obstacle position here, we want to look to see if we're holding ourselves back, if we're too restrictive, if we're too incubated, if we're too closed off from that expansive, creative energy. All right. Now, there is water here in the amniotic sac. The mermaid obviously is a water being. We've got water flowing around here. We've got, this creative energy here, but we've got the color of water here. We've got water in this card. So the water element is, something to really kind of look at. Water is the emotional realm. Water flows. So think about if the energy is flowing in your energy body, in your energy system for that creative expression. Or if that energy, if it feels stuck or stagnant. So that is the obstacle card. And then that brings us to heart-centered. And I love this card, but again, I love them all. But this heart-centered card, to me, if you look at all of this energy around here, it's beautiful, but it can also be a little chaotic. We saw a little bit of chaotic energy last month in the rebirth card because there was the central image in that card, and then there was what looked like chaos around it. So no matter what is going on around you or within you, you can always tune into your heart, tune into your heart center. That is where they say the seat of the soul is in your heart. This is midway between the upper chakras and the lower chakras. So you could really get centered here as you connect to the above and the below. And then from a healing perspective, since we do see healing here, some of us build walls around our hearts. They serve us until they don't anymore. So when I see this energy and this expansive energy that wants to come forward and flow and move, and then I see like a restrictive energy here, and then I see this heart-centered card, I think of heart walls, and I think of releasing heart walls. Heart walls serve us until they don't. So if we feel vulnerable or we feel we don't feel safe for various different reasons, we start building these walls around our heart. And they're again, these serve us. They're a coping mechanism. They help us get through difficult times. But eventually they become restrictive, and then they don't serve anymore. So then it's like the universe is saying, this is a safe time for you to start releasing any heart wall or heart energy, restrictive heart energy that you would have. So lots of expansive energy, lots of room for healing and wholeness and expansion and creative flowing energy, and releasing a heart wall is what I see in this reading. So remember, you've got all this universal energy here so you know that you are fully supported on your journey. Cards, of course, are never in place of licensed medical care or licensed therapy. So if you need professional assistance moving through anything, please seek that out. And then to the extent that it is beneficial for you, utilize the messages from these readings to support you this month. But lots of healing energy, lots of expansion, lots of really tuning into and expanding the heart energy. So, all right, so that concludes this main reading. If I were going to offer any suggested practical steps that you could apply, it would be reflecting and kind of journaling around, how comfortable do you feel in your true expression of your authentic self? And do you feel vulnerable to the point where it stops you? And if so, is there any healing that needs to be done around that? What might you not be seeing? So reflective, contemplative, journaling thought around this would be super beneficial. If you do come to the conclusion or the thought that you do have a heart wall, body code, emotion code practitioners specifically work with heart walls. I know there are many other modalities that can assist with heart wall stuff. I just happen to be a body code, emotion code practitioner, so I look at it through that lens. But doing any forgiveness work. You can do that on your own. You know, you can just put your hands on your heart and ask your heart what it needs. So it's not like you have to go outside of yourself, but those resources are available to you if needed. And then just on a very simplistic level, create something, create some art, do some doodling, do a new recipe, whatever gets the energy moving and flowing for you. You know, movement, dance, water is all about flow and movement. So if your energy feels stagnant, maybe incorporate some simple flowing dancing movement into your being. But those would be some practical steps that you could apply. So journaling, movement, energy healing work, talking to a therapist, stuff like that. All right, I hope this message served you well. And for those of you who pulled an extra card, we're going to move into that portion now. And for the rest of you, I hope you have a great October, and we will see you next month for the November reading. And I will have my beautiful sister soul, Julia, with me next month for sure. Right, Julia? All right. All right. Bye, everyone. All right. So card one, if you pulled the first card of those three, that is the second frequency card in the Sacred Foundations set. So the key words for this card are sacred pool, activating the divine power within, ancestral healing, and liberation. So what I like to do is pull this card into the main reading. So if you pulled this card here, you know, we were talking about the flow of water. We were talking about this radiant soul healing, talks about the ancestors and healing the lineage. So that's actually kind of cool. So see which of these cards stood out for you during the main reading, but just know that this card really supports that healing energy. And then also we talked about the chaos here. These look like cord strings or ties. So this card is about, if it comes forward to assist you in cutting, disconnecting, or releasing all cords, strings, ties, vows, hooks, or connections to any person, place, or situation that no longer serves you. So that would be something to look at if this card came up for you. You know, cutting any, we have positive, you know, loving connections through our heart, and then we have some connections that no longer serve us. So you may want to consider doing some intentional cord cutting or releasing for any attachments you have around your heart. That doesn't mean you can never accidentally cut a cord that you have to a loved one. You can release unhealthy cords that you have with a loved one, but you would never sever that positive life affirming cord. Just so you know. And then the message is, it's okay to be your own person. In fact, it is why you are here at this time. So this one really kind of goes along with this entire reading. Actually, they kind of all do, but anyway, so these frequency card sets, the images give off frequencies that support you on your journey. I call them encoded frequency art. So if you really kind of understand the way that images can carry frequencies that are encoded and support you, spend some time meditating with this image. If you have the Sacred Foundations frequency card set, then you can obviously just work with it in that way. All right, so this is the card one, those who picked the first card. Again, the second card in the Sacred Foundations set. So, all right, happy, excuse me. I'm gonna pause this. All right, had to take a sip of water there. All right, so this is the message for this card. So lots to work with this month. I hope it goes well for you, and we will see you next month. All right, for those who pulled the middle card or card number 2 for the Sacred Foundations frequency card, this is the message for you. The keywords are illuminating heart essence, creative joy, inner child, and radiance. This is a card of healing and illumination as your creative energy is being or will be expressed in a powerful and positive way. And then it goes on to talk about what was once helpful becomes a hindrance, and you have reached a point on your journey where it is safe to release your heart walls. So how perfect is this card? So if you pulled this one, we mentioned in the main reading about the heart wall, potential for heart wall. So see how that resonated with you. You know, if releasing some heart wall work is calling to you, again, body code, emotion code practitioners really work a lot with heart walls. I am a body code, emotion code practitioner, but there's many of us around. Dr. Bradley Nelson, who does the body code, emotion code work, has a book called The Emotion Code. I believe he actually came out with a book called The Body Code as well. I haven't read that one, but you could release your own heart walls. You don't have to go to a practitioner to do so. So if you resonate with the thought of releasing heart walls, then reading the emotion code book may be something that you want to do. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me or any other body code, emotion code practitioner to assist you in releasing a heart wall. But that is something to consider with this second card here, especially since it just flat right out says heart walls. And then we also, it talks about healing and it talks about creative energy. So you've got the creative energy here. You're really called to being the expression of your true creative self. We are all creative beings. So a lot of rich energy here. And these are frequency attunement cards. So there is attunement energy in the image itself. So feel free to reflect on the image. If you own the Sacred Foundation's frequency card set, then obviously you might want to consider having that on your altar. But yeah, so that is an extra layer of information available to you. But you are really ready to illuminate and shine and express your creative energy. So that wraps up that. If you pulled card number 2, the third card in the Sacred Foundations set, I hope it serves you well, and we will see you next month. Bye-bye. All right, for those who pulled card 3, this is the base card in the Sacred Foundation set. So at the core of every sacred foundation lies the basic tenet of loving and accepting yourself along your journey. That's a key basic sacred foundation, is loving and accepting yourself. So if you have a hard time doing that, this card is really reminding you to deepen and develop that ability to love and accept yourself. Emotional freedom technique, tapping, if you're familiar with the tapping points. A lot of people use tapping or EFT to help them remember to love and accept themselves, and move the energy if it feels stagnant and stuck around that. And then the 4 agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz are part of the message of this base card. And it's about being impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. And then layer into that the virtues of respect, humility, commitment, and right relationship. I mentioned in the main reading that we're in eclipse season, and part of the eclipse is in Libra. We are in the month of Libra energy. So you may want to check out your relationship with yourself, your relationship with other people, and just kind of see if there's anything that would be beneficial for you to be aware of in your relationships. And how are you being with others? Are you being impeccable with your word? Are you taking things personally, making assumptions and stuff like that? So be loving and kind with yourself. You are where you are, but you're never stuck in a place. There's always emerging energy, expansive energy. So consider start working on really developing and deepening your sacred foundation. So I hope this card served you well. Just know that these attunement frequency cards can support you energetically if you believe in that. Again, not in place of licensed medical care or licensed therapy, but from an energetic perspective, these cards can assist you on your journey. So if I relate this Sacred Foundations card and having that base, it would really be what base would benefit you as you are stepping into a more empowered state of being. What does a firm foundation look like for you so you feel safe and you feel secure, so you can come from your heart and open up your heart and be vulnerable to being the truth and the full expression of yourself. So that's how I would tie this last card into it. All right, so that wraps this up. I hope that you enjoyed the reading and are able to utilize some practical steps for you. We will see you next month, and it will be Julia and I next month. I'm gonna hold that vision. All right, goodbye everybody. Thank you for joining us.